Today we're going to talk about 3 things you can do to navigate the real estate market here in Cincinnati. Specifically, number 1, if you're selling, how can you get every single penny out of the sale of your home, get optimal terms for your sale? Number 2, if you're buying a home, how can you find the home you're looking for? How can you get it under contract with reasonable price and terms? And number 3, if you're buying and selling at the same time, what's the best path? Should you buy first, sell first? Should you try to do both at the same time? Is that possible? What are the financing options? So you can get a game plan together on how to achieve your real estate goals. So what we're going to do is apply that in the context of what's going on in the market right now. So we're going to look at the numbers here for week 25 of 2021. We're going to compare it to the same week last year and see how we measure up. So first off, new listings are down 8.5% compared to the same time last year. That's a little discouraging because inventory is already pretty low. Hopefully that does not become a trend, but we'll keep an eye on that for you. Closings are down 9% compared to last year. So that's 9% less activity than we saw in the market last year. That's actually the 3rd week in a row that we've seen that. So that's developing into a short-term trend. Hopefully that's not something that we see long-term, but that's just overall less activity in the market. And that's bad news for agents and buyers and sellers and even homeowners who aren't even in the market right now. Just to see less activity in the real estate market is not really a good news for them. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Average sale price, speaking of trends, every single week this year in 2021 has been seeing double-digit growth, even as high as 25%. This week we see kind of around what we've seen as an average, 17%. So your house is actually worth 17% more than it was last year, even if you haven't improved it, you've just maintained it. That's awesome news for homeowners. Terrible news for buyers, of course. It makes it really difficult, unless they have equity from their current home to draw from, to be able to afford the next house. So especially if they're a first-time buyer, it's very difficult for those people to afford to buy a house right now, which is really unfortunate. So there's always both sides of the coin here. That's good for one and bad for the other. So average sale price is one example, which is awesome news for sellers and bad news for buyers. I don't see that trend continuing at that pace. I think we're going to maybe at some point have still have a rise in home prices, but maybe at a slower rate, and that may be a multiple factors that will contribute to that. We'll talk about that maybe another day here. But average days on market, 55% lower than they were last year. So it's homes are selling 55% faster than last year. It's taking about 10 days to get a listing under contract, and that's on average. There's certainly those that are distressed or fixer-upper homes or poorly marketed or overpriced that are taking longer than 10 days, but most listings are selling in the first day or two. And they would probably sell a lot faster even in the first couple hours, but a lot of sellers are slowing the process down and saying, we're starting on this date, we're going to accept showings and offers for 48 hours. That's in our best interest, that's what we're going to do. Sometimes they end up taking an offer quicker than that anyway because they get a great offer, but they're trying to get multiple offers so they can get the best terms for them, and that's their right. So that's what's typically happening. But again, homes are selling quite a bit faster than they were last year, which is no surprise. Inventory right now is still below 3 months. It's at 2.89 months. The more important factor within that is about 33% of the inventory is active or coming soon. That means the other 2/3 are actually under contract. So only a third of the about 3 months is actually active. So maybe a month or even less than a month worth of inventory is actually available for buyers to look at and to bid on. So that's probably more reflective of what buyers are experiencing rather than 3 months of inventory. Doesn't sound that bad. It's really less than 1 month of active inventory. So given all of this market data, the question becomes, how do you apply this knowledge so that as a seller, you can take full advantage of the market? As a buyer, you can navigate the difficulty of the market to get your new home. And if you're buying and selling at the same time, how do you do all of this at once? So first of all, if you're selling, best thing you can do is do additional premium marketing. We call it target marketing. If you'd like to learn more about that and how that process works, click the link patrickgrosser.com/sell. What we essentially do is, in addition to the general marketing that most agents would do, or if you were doing your listing for sale by owner, you would put all of your information on all the consumer sites and apps. And if you're working with an agent in the MLS as well, and that'll get you just general contact with the general public. But we take it a step further than that, and we actually take a look at the specific features of our clients' homes, and we match it up with the ideal type of buyer based on demographic research. What's their age, how many kids do they have, where do they live now, what's their income, what's their credit score, variety of factors. We're building out the buyer profile of the perfect type of person we want to sell our home to because that type of person would be most interested in the specific unique features of our home, that's how we're going to get the best price. That's how we're going to get the best terms for our sale, rather than just kind of a buckshot approach to the general public. So we do both of those things, the general public broadcast, but also the target marketing, proactively advertising. Whether these people are actually actively searching or not, we're reaching them through social media advertising and also offline through direct mail. So we're ensuring our seller clients that they're not only getting the general broadcast marketing, but they're also getting very highly targeted marketing to get the best price and the best terms for their sale. The end result for our seller clients is they're getting more money at the closing table. They're getting better terms. They're typically not paying for the buyer's closing costs or the repairs, and they also don't have to work with the buyer's time, and they can typically choose the date for closing. They get the timing they want as well. So at the end of the day, doing target marketing is a much better result for our seller clients. If you'd like to learn more about how that works, again, go ahead and click the link patrickgrosser.com/sell. Now on that video, there's nothing being sold. We're not trying to swipe your contact information. In fact, there's a couple other video links here we'll talk about in a second. These are purely educational. So the next one is for buyers. If you're having a hard time finding the house you're looking for, whether you're not really able to find what you're looking for due to limited inventory, or even when you do find the home you're looking for, you're struggling to get it under contract because of multiple offers from other buyers because competition is so fierce. One of the strategies you can use is to simply avoid the open market altogether. Start looking for opportunities off market. Find an unlisted home. So click the link there, patrickgrosser.com/unlisted. That video will explain to you how we help our clients to find off-market opportunities, unlisted homes that meet their criteria in the neighborhoods that they want to live in. And what we're able to do in this situation, which it'll explain in the video, is we actually give our buyer clients an exclusive opportunity to see the house before it hits the market. And they're actually able to write an offer as well because it's not even on the market. They have no competition from other buyers. And so it's not something where we're not listing the house ourselves. The seller doesn't have it listed for sale by owner. It's not even on the market in any way, shape, or form. We're simply giving our buyer clients an opportunity to see something that's off market, and if they like it, they can go ahead and buy it off market as long as the homeowner is willing to do that as well. So it's something that's working very well for some of our clients that are very serious about making a move, or very specific on where they want to live and what type of home they want, and they just haven't been able to find anything on the open market. Again, click the link there to learn more about how that works, patrickgrosser.com/unlisted. Now, if you own a home and you're trying to move to a new home, you're going to be buying and selling at the same time, or perhaps buying first or selling first. The first thing you need to figure out is a game plan. What's the best way to do this? It's going to depend on your financial situation, but it also depends a lot on what's going to be acceptable in the market. The biggest challenge right now is not so much selling your home, although we've talked about how you can optimize that. But the biggest challenge is finding the right home for you and then getting it under contract at a reasonable price and reasonable terms. Which we've talked a little bit there about as well, the off-market strategies. But you really need to look at this as a whole. If you're buying and selling, there's a few different paths you can choose. And depending on which path you choose, you have to have a specific game plan in terms of financing, how that's going to work, and just the logistics of the timing of everything. So click on the link there, patrickgrosser.com/bridge. We give a really good overview of the traditional options you have to buy and sell at the same time, how that works in today's market, what are the pros and cons of each approach given the market conditions right now. But we also propose a really unique solution for certain circumstances. It's called the bridge solution. And this is really good for folks who want to buy their next house, but they don't qualify to get a mortgage to cover their next house plus their current mortgage plus any other debts they have. Maybe their debt to income ratio isn't quite right, or maybe they don't have a down payment sufficient enough to get the right type of loan they want or to be attractive to sellers. So what we do with the bridge solution is you're actually able to sell your house for full market value, and then you can thereby erase your mortgage debt. You can get cash for a down payment to increase that down payment, or to pay off any other debts or anything else you really want to do with that cash to put yourself in a better financial position, but also to give your offer on your next house an ability to rise to the top of the multiple offer situation that you're probably going to experience in this market. So what we've done for a current client of ours, they were very skeptical of the bridge solution. It kind of sounded too good to be true to them, to be honest, and we walked them through the process, answered all their questions. They got their house sold for a lot more than they expected. They were able to actually get their next house, their dream home, under contract because they were able to trade up to a better loan and put more money down and pay their own closing costs, etc. Make their offer overall much more attractive to the sellers compared to the other offers that were there. They were in a multiple offer situation and they won, in large part because of the bridge solution enabling them to do so. So if you'd like to learn more about how this process works, to see if it's a good fit for you, go ahead and click the link patrickgrosser.com/bridge. Again, that's going to help you figure out how you can buy and sell at the same time in the current market conditions here in Cincinnati. Now, if you have any general questions about the market, whether or not it's a good time to buy or sell, or just how much your house is worth, or what could you get approved for a loan to buy your next house, any general questions that these videos don't cover, anything you'd like to talk to us about, feel free to schedule a call with us. Click the link there. That'll cross-reference to our calendar. Make sure it's a time that we can both meet, at least over the phone for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Have an initial conversation. There's no obligation, no cost to do that. Worst case scenario, even if you don't end up working with us or even end up buying or selling or anything, you'll have at least some actionable information to put you on the right path towards achieving your real estate goals. Also, if you like this information, if it's helpful to you, please understand we do about 2 or 3 of these videos every single week on the market news, on buyer and seller tips and strategies. Go ahead and hit the like button. Let Facebook know to send more of our videos to you in the future. You can also follow our business page, turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. You can also look at our previous videos on our timeline and playlist, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Patrick Grosser-Cincinnati Realtor. And by the way, if you have any topics you'd like for us to cover in the future, or you'd like any of your questions answered in this video format, go ahead and drop those in the comments for us. Chances are there's other people in our audience that have the same questions they'd like answered, the same topics they would want covered as well. So we can not only educate you, but also our larger audience, and we'd appreciate your feedback on that. Again, please in the comments drop your topic suggestions and the questions you'd like answered, and we'll get those on the docket for you as soon as possible. I'm Patrick Grosser, and thanks for watching.